Hi, this is Trepacer. Normally I do, this is Saturday, my Saturday horror reviews, but I thought I'd do something a little different and basically make this, it's still going to be about horror, but it's going to be, I guess, why I love Universal Horror. Yeah, Universal Horror is just, that's my absolute favorite. And, I like other horror, genres, but I love the ones from Universal Horror. I like Hammer and Freddy and Jason movies. And little Michael Myers as well. But Universal is my first love, and it's basically I'm going to tell you the reasons why it's my first love. Okay, and for a number of reasons. Now this is a Universal the Legacy collection that came out years ago on DVD, and see it has a little the icons there, the Frankenstein monster, Dracula, and the Wolfman, the Forever Cursed Wolfman. And it has the movie breakdown in there. There's Dracula set, and there's Frankenstein monster set there, and then in the back, of course, the Forever Curse, Lawrence Stewart Talbot, aka the Wolfman, Larry the Wolfman, and and I also have the coffin edition of the Universal Monsters that's on Blu-ray. Okay, and I also have something else that made me a big fan of. This is Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. This is DVD, and it's on Blu-ray, and I need to get the Blu-ray. Okay, and there you see the Abbott and Costello versus the Universal Horror Monsters. But I'm going to start, I guess, with this. And the very first movie that I remember seeing horror, Universal horror movie, was it was when I was in public school years ago, back in the good old days, in the ancient times, when they used to have movies. They used to show movies like after school. I think it was 35 cents. I think back then. It may have been 5 cents back then. I'm so old that my memory goes. But either 35 cents. Anyway, you had to basically fill out a permission slip. Get a permission slip. And then you get your parents to sign it, of course, saying that you could attend the after school thing, and then you pay your 35 cents or 5 cents, whatever it was. And the first movie that I saw was, of course, Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman. Okay, and that story, my little mini review of it is, of course, due to the events of the Wolfman and the ghost of Frankenstein. Okay, the Wolfman. This is spoilers for those who haven't seen that and don't want to know. This is going to be spoilers, so you can spoilers at this point. So in case you want to fast forward, anyway, the beginning of this movie is like the continuation, because the Wolfman, of course, Lawrence Talbot gets killed by his father. Okay, of course, father not knowing that he's the Wolfman gets bludgeoned to death. Okay, and transforms back into Lawrence Talbot, and of course he's shocked, and then it cuts off. Okay, and then the end of Ghost of Frankenstein is when the son of the original Frankenstein tries to put the good brain of his colleague into the monster, his father's creation. Of course, his other colleague, who's so jealous of him, basically makes a deal with Igor to put his brain into the monster, of course. So you have Igor inside the monster's body, of course, and Igor, of course, is evil, and of course Igor, tries to basically, gas the people, and of course, he does wind up killing Dr. Frankenstein, basically choking him, to death. But before he dies, of course, Igor goes blind. Of course, as Frankenstein says, his blood type is not the same as Kettering. They will not support the septic nerve, right? Whatever that was, that great saying. He said it, and of course then Igor panics and says, "You played me a trick," and basically throws the other scientists into the electrical thing, and he dies, and then he stumbles about, and of course knocking over things and setting the castle on fire, and of course he gets, you presumed dead, and dies in the fire, but of course he doesn't, because he's the Frankenstein monster. And I think the only way they say that you can kill the Frankenstein monster is by dissection. I think that's the only way I think you can kill him. You have to dissect him, basically, because he got charged with a spark of life, in the first movie, so in Frankenstein. So the only way to kill him is to dissect him, of course. And they were going to do that until they got the bright idea of putting his brain, and then he got screwed by the other scientists. But anyway, I digress. So at the beginning, of course, Frankenstein meets the Wolfman is Lawrence in his grave, of course, and his father by then, of course, is long dead. But before he died, he made sure when he buried him to put wolfbane in the tomb and stuff and keep him sealed. Okay, keep him sealed so he wouldn't be exposed to the moonlight. But of course, these grave robbers disturbed that and basically, resurrect him on a full moon and take the wolfman out and expose him to the moonlight, where he miraculously because again he can't die. Okay, I think silver bullets, I think, is the only thing that can kill him. A wolf, right? Or silver cane, yeah. Anyway, but or silver. Okay, but anyway, and I remember seeing that movie, and and I vividly remember the graveyard scene. That scene is probably one of the best scenes ever in a horror movie. Them stumbling into the grave, and it's all, it's black and white, and it's stormy, and of course, I like the stormy. It's windy, not stormy. It's windy, and you see the tumbleweeds and all that stuff going by, and then of course, he gets resurrected, and the other guy, drops the lantern and it sets on fire, and then he leaves his friend to get his neck rearranged by the Wolfman, and then he stumbles out. And of course, this movie is, of course, Lawrence Talbot. He's resurrected, and he goes sees Gypsy Maliva, and she takes him to, says he can't help him, but she knows a guy that can help him, Dr. Frankenstein. Of course, Dr. Frankenstein's long dead. Okay, but he does change into the Wolfman once again, and of course kills a girl, I think, and then the townspeople are after him, and then he stumbles down a shaft, then actually to the remains of the Frankenstein castle, and where he finds the frozen Frankenstein monster. Of course, and basically the gist of it is he wants to die, and he has the monster try to help him find the notes, and then a scientist who was at the asylum where Lawrence Talbot stayed briefly when he was resurrected. Okay, he comes to see him, and the basic plan is to kill Lawrence Talbot and to kill the monster. But of course, the scientist gets fascinated with the monster and doesn't kill him. Instead, he recharges him, and of course, and then the monster takes a liking to the daughter of Frankenstein, the son of I guess it'd be the second son of Frankenstein, takes a liking to her and tries to get her, and then the Wolfman gets resurrected because it's a full moon and they clash and that. But I absolutely love that movie because it was just so, so great. The clash. You have two, monster icons battling each other, or more like wrestling, or basically thrown about. Not the actual punches thrown, but to a little kid, that's just fantastic. To see two horror creatures fighting each other. That was a fascinating experience, and it just made me actually fell in love with that. And I wanted to see. I actually saw that movie before I saw the Wolfman. Okay, which is, I know it's weird, but that's the experience that I had. I saw that before I saw the Wolfman, and then when I did see the Wolfman, the original movie, I absolutely loved that movie, the Wolfman. It's just, Lon Chaney Jr. just played that part so well. It made me want to go see the other movies. See the Frankenstein movies, the Dracula movies, all the Universal horror movies, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Dracula, just all of them. I wanted to see all of them, and that's why when this set came out, I snatched this. I think I bought this from a Blockbuster, I think, years ago. That was in Manhattan, and I bought this when it first came out. I absolutely love that, and it just made me, and I used to watch it all the time. And also another thing that made me love the Universal horror movies is I was a big Abbott and Costello fan, and in New York they used to show on Sundays on Channel 11 before the baseball games. They used to show Abbott and Costello movies all the time in New York on Channel 11 picks. They used to show Abbott and Costello movies all the time, and then I remember the first time seeing Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. I had never, I'd seen all of them, and then when this one showed up, and I said, Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, and then you see that great opening little sequence, animated sequence where you see, Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman, and it just fascinated me. And I said, "Oh my God!" And then I watched it, and the movie is just great. Abbott and Costello play, I think was it Chicken Wilbur? I think, yeah, Chicken Wilbur. I think that's the character's name in this. And they baggage handlers, and of course some guy he's bringing over supposedly the remains of the Frankenstein monster and Dracula for an exhibit. And of course, Lawrence Talbot, the forever cursed Wolfman, is cursed again, and he's basically trying to give Abbott and Costello the heads up that the Dracula is trying to resurrect the Frankenstein monster, and rule the world or whatever. And basically, you have a good mix of horror and comedy in this. And I remember after seeing it and just absolutely loving it, because it was a great mix of Abbott and Costello in this, and the monsters themselves were, taken seriously. They were, you had the Abbott and Costello comedy, but the monsters themselves, they were fantastic, and I love Glenn Strange as the Frankenstein monster. I think he was second to Boris Karloff, of course, as the best actor to me to play the Frankenstein monster, because he just looked the part. He had the height, and he just looked great in the makeup. Okay, and then of course you got Bela Lugosi reprising his role as Dracula, which was fantastic. And then of course you have Lon Chaney, of course, as the Forever Cursed Wolfman. Okay, and it was just fantastic. And I remember this. I used to tune in every week to see it. It was silly in my head. I would tune in every Sunday religiously after that, just to make so I wouldn't miss the next time they would show this. They showed it in the rotation, but I kept watching Abbott and Costello movies just to see for this to come back up in the rotation. And that's how much I absolutely love this movie. And then of course I snatched it up, and it's on Blu-ray, which I have to get. Okay, and it just made me absolutely love the Universal horror movies. Just made me love it even more. And of course, they came out with this set, I think a year or 2 years ago, whenever it was, and I had to get this, the Monster Edition on Blu-ray, this coffin edition. And of course, you got these great, you got Dracula, you got Frankenstein, the Mummy, the Wolfman, the Invisible Man, Phantom of the Opera, Creature from the Black Lagoon, just the Mummy, and just, oh my God, this set is absolutely fantastic. And hold on, let me see if I can take this coffin thing off. Hold on. There we go. Take that off. And I did see this on my channel if you want to watch me. I did an unboxing of it. But look at those creatures there. Just iconic. Just fantastic. Come on. And Boris Karloff played the Frankenstein monster, the Mummy. Just fantastic. The Invisible Man, the Wolfman, who's my absolute favorite Universal horror character. Just fantastic. The Bride of Frankenstein. Just so many great movies, and I absolutely love this set. And I think I heard a rumor about this, so they're supposed to be releasing another set of movies, I think, this year. I'm hoping. I hope that rumor is true, that every year they're supposed to release more of the Universal horror movies on Blu-ray. And I think recently they did release these titles singularly on Blu-ray, because I remember that. I think a couple of weeks ago they released these titles that are in this set on Blu-ray in the States. I think I don't know about overseas, but they released these titles on because I remember seeing them on Amazon. They released these titles, but I already have them on Blu-ray. And the only one I think I may get is the Wolfman, because like I said, he's my favorite character, so I may get that individual Blu-ray just to see if there's any special features that are not on here. And anyway, so again, my love for Universal horror is just off the charts. I absolutely love it. To me, it's just the best. Bela Lugosi, look at the caliber of actors. You have Bela Lugosi, Boris Karloff, Lon Chaney Jr., Claude Rains, who else? I'm trying. Sorry about drawing a blank. And just the great cast of characters and the creatures. Just I'm sorry, just brings a smile to my face. Anyway, enough rambling. This video is going on way too long. I just wanted to make a little different horror video. Again, this title of this video will be Why I Love Universal Horror, and I hope I explain myself. Like I said, I love the creatures. I love the Frankenstein monster, the whole bolts in the neck and a flat head, and of course the whole look, the whole outfit. The suit, the black, the suit with the black sweater, and just I love the. I even for the Wolfman thing, I think I had a gray shirt and the pants just like him, and I used to sometimes pretend when I was little to to be the Wolfman, acting, being afraid of the moon and all this stuff. I'm sorry, I love the Wolfman. His character is just my favorite, because Lon Chaney Jr. absolutely owned that part. He made you feel so much for his character. The guy just wanted to be normal, wanted to die, he wanted to stop being a monster. Okay, he just had no choice. But I'm sorry, just fantastic. I absolutely love the Universal horrors. Anyway, let me know what you think of Universal horror, and what are your favorites. What's your favorite character? Again, my favorite character again is the Wolfman, Lon Chaney. I absolutely love him, and he was the only actor to play the Wolfman, which is a great thing. And let me know what you think of Universal Horror. Who's your favorite character and why? Feel free to leave comments down below. And again, I'll upload this video on my on the Horoscope 101 channel, as well as my Trepacer's horror reviews. And the name of this video again will be Why I Love Universal Horror. And this is Trepacer saying so long and take care. Ow. Oh yeah, one other thing I forgot to add. I heard on AMC Talk that they're supposed to be trying to create I guess a Universal Horror cinematic universe, which I think is a great idea. I would sign me up for that. That sounds like a fantastic idea. Do the standalone movies, and like modern version, I guess, of the Wolfman, the Frankenstein monster, and Dracula, and all those the creatures. The Mummy. I think the Mummy is supposed to be the first one up in the series. I would love to see that, and of course, and take it seriously. That's why I was so disappointed with Van Helsing, because I thought that was going to be a serious take on it, but Stephen Sommers put his humor in there, and I think it would have been great if they had played it straight. But this is my opinion. But anyway, I'm hoping that Universal Cinematic Universe gets kicked off the ground, and so I can see that. And what do you think of that? Let me know what you think of that cinematic universe for the Universal horror movies, monsters. I would love. That would be a fantastic idea. Anyway, just wanted to add that in. Take care.